Hey everybody, it's Meredith Miller here again on Monday for your Sana Q&As. Happy Halloween to all of you who are here in America and elsewhere in the world celebrating Halloween. I'm going to start with this question today. Remember the link if you want to submit a question, the link is below the video. You can click on there. You will need to be logged into my website in order to be able to see that page. So on my home page, if you don't have a login yet, you can scroll down, enter your name and email. You'll get your own personal login information. Then you can log into my site and leave a message there. So this question says, "Hi Meredith, thank you for your work and support for us all. I'm totally out from my past relationship with a narc. Means that I have no desire to go back, and I understand the quote-unquote dance of addiction that I have been in. The only problem now to face is my wounds and how to relate to my ex. We have many common friends, and to some I have been able to express this to, but some I chose not to. I have the feeling he is now understanding that I'm not in his grip anymore and wondering why I choose minimum contact. I don't want to tell him that I did unmask him, but maybe I have to. Of course, that would lead to another round of narcissistic rage. I just want to be left alone, but still don't want to break contact with many innocent friends. Thank you so much." Okay. So what's good is it sounds like you're understanding what you call the dance of addiction, right? Which, Ross Rosenberg really describes in his book, The Human Magnet Syndrome. If any of y'all haven't read that book yet, I highly recommend it because you'll really understand what that attraction is, and even though he says he doesn't give a lot of advice on how to change that, you can get some really good advice in there. Insight into the two main areas that he's talking about, which are boundaries and expression of self. How the recovering codependents, right? We have issues with boundaries. We have to learn to set boundaries. We have to learn to enforce boundaries. We have to learn to get over our guilt and shame for even setting a boundary because of that past conditioning, and then we also need to learn how to express ourselves, our authentic, true selves, not hide who we are out of shame or fear of judgment or fear that someone's going to put you down or something of that nature, make you feel unwanted, not good enough. So working on that continuum of self, which Ross Rosenberg talked about. So it's awesome that you get the dance. Now, my question to you, honey, is, why the minimum contact? I didn't see anything in here about kids. If you have kids, then I understand. But if you don't have kids and you don't have to work with this person or, something like this, no contact really is the ideal way to relate to that ex, which is not at all, not having any contact at all with him or anyone associated with him. It's ideal because it keeps you safe, because any contact with him, even through, friends that are in the middle, that can get really ugly. Those friends can convert into what they call blind monkeys. The friends can be part of a smear campaign. The friends can be trying to get information from you and relaying it back to him, which then he uses against you to make you feel bad, to make you feel afraid or terrorized, to make you feel doubt. It's just it's gonna be like an invitation to hold yourself stuck. You're not gonna feel like you're really moving on with the minimum contact. And in your case, like I said, unless you have kids, it really doesn't sound like there's any need to have the contact. So I would ask yourself, why? And I'm not saying you're wrong, right? Because you can choose whatever you want. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from my own experience with multiple relationships with these types of people. I'm speaking from the experience of listening to hundreds, if not thousands, of stories of people who've had experiences with these people. That's where I'm coming from. So, I would really encourage you not to keep yourself open to that contact because it's going to keep strengthening the trauma bond. Every time you talk to him, every time you hear from him, whether it makes you happy or whether it makes you sad or angry, either way, it's just continuing to strengthen that trauma bond. There really is no moving forward, no major healing until that trauma bond is healed and broken. Right? So that's a major danger there, is that you're, creating this trauma bond to continue, and you're setting yourself up for inevitable harm. It may not be today, it may not be this week, it may not be this month, but chances are it is, little by little by little, and then there's that one time that just smashes you down, right? And then it takes you weeks or a month or longer to recover, to get back to yourself. So I would really caution you to reconsider that, to evaluate, why you want to have the minimum contact. Why is that important to you? Why does it matter to you? And really take a look at that. I would journal it so that you can really see it in writing, so that you can force yourself to say these things to yourself, to write it on paper, to look at it and see if that doesn't maybe create some kind of shift inside you. And you mentioned these quote unquote innocent friends, right? So which ones really are your friends and which ones aren't? Because if they're in contact with both of you, there is potential for danger there, because you don't know who they are really. He could be converting them into flying monkeys, whether they realize it or not. They might be actively engaging in abusing you and manipulating you for his benefit. They call that, abuse by proxy. Or maybe they don't know. Maybe they're just unconscious and they're just following his whims. But what happens is that you end up getting hurt because of their role, and being a liaison to him. So, having friends in common with the ex is probably not going to work, right? I would really reconsider that, because you're just putting yourself in the danger of the smear campaign, the flying monkeys, and just, all this information going back to him, and you're always maintaining the open connection that way. So like I said, if you don't have kids, you've got the easier way, the ideal way, which is no contact, because that really keeps you safe. Not having any contact, that helps you break the trauma bond, that helps you set yourself free, that helps you move forward and heal after those experiences. And so how do you know who your real friends are, right? So your real friends are not going to want to hang out with him. Your real friends are noticing, whoa, what happened to you in that relationship? Or, they're asking you, so why did you break up with so-and-so? And, if you reveal the truth, at least parts of the truth, right? You can try starting with little pieces of the truth, revealing this to your friends. You'll see really quickly which one are your true friends and which ones are not. Really quickly. You'll find out if these are all innocent friends, or if some of them are sympathizing with him, bringing information back to him, going back and forth, not really on your side, wanting to be in his life because of some benefit they're getting from him, whether it's status or money, or he takes them out, or they like just to be with him because he looks good. I mean, whatever it is, whatever reason it is that they're hanging out with him, I would really check that. And like I said, the quickest way to find out is to tell your truth and see where they stand. Are they in total denial? Do they immediately put you down and try to make you doubt? And well, it really wasn't that way, and you're really just over exaggerating. He's a wonderful person. If they say something like that, that's not your friend. You don't need to try to convince them of anything. They already have their point of view. That your job is not to convince them. Your job is to understand where they're at and how they feel. And when you see that they're defending him, that they're not your friend. I would recommend cutting those people out of your life. And like you said, the danger of calling out the narc is dealing with the narcissistic rage. And that can be really terrifying. I mean, it could actually lead to physical violence sometimes. Sometimes it's just terrifying, psychological violence. I would be very cautious with that. It also opens you up to retaliation. The only benefit that I've found with calling a person out is that they tend never to come back. They tend never to hoover, never to have any more contact with you. It's like they let you off the hook easily. You hear a lot of stories about people who are just getting constantly hoovered, right? And it's horrible. It's so hard to move on when they're still contacting you. But when you call them out for who they are, usually they go running away, because the most horrible thing for them is that their public perception, that image that they're trying to portray, is shattered with the truth. So they're going to be terrified of that. If you're calling them out, they're not going to want to be around you. They're not going to want to hang out with you. Now, of course, they're probably going to try to retaliate. They might even try to smear your name or something. So beware of that. and really evaluate if you need to do that or not. You don't have to. You can simply go no contact without calling that person out. Sometimes that's just the easy way, but if that person is constantly hoovering, sometimes it's the easiest way just to say, this is, manipulation, this is abuse, you are whatever, and put that out there, and that person's going to get really angry, most likely, but they are going to go away a lot faster usually. Not saying always, but that's usually what happened. So, you really decide if that's for you or not, if that's a step that you want to take and why. It's always good to ask the question, why? Anytime we do anything, anytime we make plans, anytime we make big decisions, always ask yourself why. Like, what's your motivation? What's your reason? Why? What's the purpose behind everything you do? And have purpose in everything that you do. So what else? Did I cover everything here? That's pretty much all I think I have to say about this topic. So, check in on a couple of things. Check in on why not no contact? Why do you prefer having minimum contact? Why are you keeping all of these friends in your life? And are they really your true friends? And do you really want to confront him or not? Is it necessary for you, or is it not necessary? And I would really, really encourage you to consider no contact. If you haven't heard of Kim Said yet, I would check out her book. It's called How to Do No Contact Like a Boss. You can get the Kindle version on Amazon. I think it's maybe like $5 or $6. It's really inexpensive, and it's great for everybody who is considering going no contact or who's trying to do it and struggling. Really, really helpful book for that. So I am sending you a big hug.